program. We are coast to coast. We are border to border on iHeartRadio today and also AMFM247.com. Tune in, iTunes. And, of course, we have the fantastic NSK with us today, Norwegian Soft Kitten, which, by the way, I just love that name. It is amazing. And we do have a quick update for Glenn. The last time we had Glenn on this program, we did a mockery of legal paperwork with Terrence Hayes. And we eventually got our legal paperwork, and we eventually did a Zoom court trial with Terrence. And all I had to do was say nothing. And Terrence buried himself. And by the time the court, we were sitting there, and at one point, Terrence made a comment about, he thought that this was stalking and all these amazing things. And the judge kept asking him, none of this has anything to do with stalking. All this is First Amendment freedom of speech. And then at that point, Terrence decided, well, he was going to sue the judge. And he threatened the judge in court. And at that point, the Zoom call ended. They threw the case out, and they fined Terrence Hayes. So, that is the update. He also did say at one point in a Facebook video after we talked about it that he was going to be suing Norwegian Soft Kitten as well. Which, yes, at some point, you probably will get legal paperwork. So, who knows? So, what has NSK been up to during the holiday season here, my friend?
Not a whole lot. Messing around with the guitar a little bit, seeing if I can come up with some new songs, doing interviews, getting played on radio stations, just kind of doing the music thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So what has been the reaction to the radio stations and folks that have been playing your music and everything that you guys are involved in?
It's been really good. We've been invited to play live at a few places, and we've never played live. We're a studio band, and since it's just me and Alan, just the two of us, we're like, what the heck would we do playing live? We can't play 8 instruments.
What the hell are we doing playing live?
So, yeah, we had a music festival has invited us to play as well, and so Alan and I are starting to throw some ideas around about how could the two of us get all this music played on stage, and we might have to have some recorded music that we play and sing along to, and I know that's done quite a bit. We're also thinking about, could we bring 3 or 4 other musicians in to round out the band for some live performances? So, we'll see.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So if you guys decide to do that route, where are you going to be recruiting some of these folks?
I imagine we'd probably go back to Denver. That's where Alan and I first met and started recording. Neither of us are anywhere close to Denver now, but I'm good friends with Jeff Johnson, who was the lead guitarist for Torch the Wagon, which was a pretty solid band in Denver, so we could get him to play. Start asking around to some of the people we know in Denver who might want to join us. I keep getting told by bands, though, these bands that only have 2 or 3 people, that they're playing live all the time with pre-recorded music, and then they just play their instruments along with it. So, considering Alan and I are kind of lazy, we'll probably go that route.
That is amazing. We're just kind of lazy. That is amazing.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. We've, thrown ideas around that we might not even actually call them concerts. We call it the Norwegian Soft Kitten Experience.
That's
because we
fantastic.
have no idea what would end up happening while we're on stage. And of course, my mantra is, if we ever play live, and I tell Alan this all the time, we got to do the old, CBGB punk mantra, that enthusiasm is more important than talent. And as long as we're out there just going insane, we probably won't get booed off the stage.
So you guys have been doing some incredible stuff and making music and all these things. If you guys decided to do, live performances and everything, where the hell are you going?
Well, the two places that are really pushing us are both, one's in Philadelphia and one's just outside Philadelphia. There's a radio station in Philadelphia that's been giving us a ton of airplay, and they keep saying, you got to come here, you got to come here and play live. And then a music festival near Philly then has been listening to us and said, yes, if you come and play for them, you got to come to our festival as well and play our festival. And I'm originally from the East Coast, southern New Jersey, not far from Philadelphia.
Jersey. So, that's right.
Yeah, I'm originally from Jersey, so I'd be able to get some family out and all if we played in the Philadelphia area. So that would probably be the first place, but who knows? Well, we never know what's going on with the band.
I think that's great that you've got a music festival and a radio station that are like, we need you to come here. We've got to have you come here. You've got to come here. What do we got to do to get you here?
Well, the thing that cracks me up as well is the station in Philadelphia has already lined up our opening act, Scoopski. And I think, why would they be opening for us? They're like 10 times better than we are. They're going to open for us. All right, whatever.
So they are serious. They've got opening acts lined up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some serious shit, brother.
Well, the thing is, Alan and I are 2,000 miles apart most of the time. So, we typically get together once a year and record a bunch of material, and Alan mixes it, and, we have our next album. So we don't really have time to rehearse. It's like, good gravy. We'd have to take a month off from work and stuff and get together, rehearse, so we could play live, because we don't want to completely embarrass ourselves. We know we will embarrass ourselves once we get on stage, but we don't want it to be a total flop, just a minor flop.
We just want it to be a minor flop, a smidgen of a flop, as they say. So tell us a little bit about the 1,000th Ship. This is quite the little tune.
Yeah, this one, we come about our songs in many different ways. Some of them, Alan pretty much writes the whole thing. Some of them, I pretty much write the whole thing. The 1,000th Ship, I came up with the music for it. And what I typically do is when I come up with a song, I'll just make a little 1 to 2 minute demo for Alan. I'll email it to him. And then he stores them in a file and all. And he's got the first recording of it. And then we build from that. And so I'd come up with the music for it. No lyrics were coming to mind at all for me. And so I made a demo for Alan, and I said, Alan, I got no lyrics for this one, because usually I sing along with the music, but yeah, here's some music. What do you think? And he got back to me right away. He said, oh my gosh, he said, some words have come to me right away. He said, you don't have to come up with any words. I'm like, okay. And so yeah, Alan came up with the words, and it's about a relationship that didn't go quite the way he was hoping it would. And we really don't write a whole lot about relationships. As Alan was telling me the one time, he said, this is like the only lyrics I've ever written that's actually about anything. Most of the time we're just throwing words together. And but this one's about an actual relationship that did not come to fruition. And but it's one where Alan and I, we went back and forth with the process. I did the writing of the music, he did the writing of the lyrics, and we don't always overlap a whole lot, but we did a lot with the 1,000th Ship.
That's awesome. Well, we are going to do this. I'm going to put you on a brief hold here on Skype. We are going to play this tune. And when we come back, we have got more with Glenn and the rest of the good folks in NSK. Here it is. It is your big, big broadcast. Coast to coast. 990 WBOB in Rhode Island.
In curious times, a lingering wave. In curious times, a shallow rain. In stillness lie under the world. An honest lie goes its own way. In silent air, the sound of a dream. From worlds apart, embers collide. Lie awake, colors of dawn. We've been here before. Fire's taking the shoreline all on her own. In the end she is standing where I call home, alone.
And then it just ends.
Like a fish in a hurricane, it's the Jiggy Jaguar experience.
You goddamn right it is. It is the big broadcast, and we go back to NSK live as live can get on our big broadcast here on the old Skip Skype. Yes, the Skype, Rooney. And so what is the situation with the song where you guys are singing and all of a sudden it just, whoop, it's over. It just ends.
With a 1,000th ship?
Yes, it just ends.
Well, actually, we have that. Well, it depends on which version you play. We have our radio edit, which we cut off the ending, because the last 42 seconds of the album version of the 1,000th ship it's actually the introduction to the following song, Full Moon Raging. But Full Moon Raging was already over 6 minutes long. And we thought, good gravy, this is going to be almost 7 minutes long if we put this intro there. Let's just put the intro to Full Moon Raging at the end of the 1,000th ship. And so that's what we did on the album. And a bunch of stations started playing the 1,000th ship. We hadn't planned to release it as a single. And I kept seeing on social media stations tagging us having played it. And so we finally thought, well, let's release it as a single. And then so we sent out another MP3 with those 42 seconds trimmed off. And that's where you get the kind of bloop.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome. It is Norwegian Soft Kitten with us today. Glenn joins us here on the old Skip Skype. Yes, the Skype-a-rooney. And he is back with us to talk about all sorts of different things. So with all the various things that are going on with Norwegian Soft Kitten, what's been some response you guys have been getting? Because, radio stations and people have just been playing the hell out of your guys' music.
Yeah, we're up to 130 stations we're aware of that have played us. And we've been nominated. We're a finalist for a radio station in Wales. We're one of their 12 finalists for International Band of the Year. We were Band of the Month for a radio station in Australia. August? We were Band of the Month. We were also in the voting in a German radio station for Band of the Year. We've had a couple songs go to #1 on various indie charts. Germany and Australia, and have charted on a few other indie charts. So the response has been really good. It's kind of funny, our Spotify listeners, are up compared to last year with our first album. And because last year I was just trying to figure out, radio stations, how to contact them and all. And so I had a list of 100 stations I was aware of. Now that list is up to 700 and some. And so anyway, we were getting hardly any people going to Spotify, iTunes to listen to us. And this year, our numbers are way up. I'm like, yes. And just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking with Alan. I'm like, Alan, how much have we made on Spotify this year? He's like, well, hold on a second. He's on his laptop. He said, we've made just over $7 this
Look
year
at
on
that.
Spotify.
Look at that.
Because I think it takes 32 streams to make 1 cent on Spotify. And then Alan and I have to split that. There are 2 of us. And so it takes, in essence, 64 streams for each of us to make a penny. So we're up to over $7 for the year. So that's why we both still have other jobs.
Hey, I'll tell you, it is you know, that Spotify thing, it's taken over the world, and $7 at a time for bands. Norwegian Soft Kitten with us today. Glenn joins us here on the old Skip Skype. So, what is your guys' songwriting process like?
It really varies. Alan, when we'll get together to record, Alan will bring his stuff, and he writes much more intricate songs than I do. He's a much better creator of music than I am, and his lyrics are typically a lot more interesting than mine. And mine are usually a little more straightforward. I'll get him a demo. I'll record the guitar parts, the lyrics, and then he'll build from there, add in the drums and bass that he plays. And but with Alan, we record here in my house in Indiana, so he'll come from LA, and he's like, okay, I need you to do this. And I'm like what? He's like, well, I'm not quite sure. And I'll mess around with the guitar. Oh, yeah, I like that. Now play that 4 times quickly. Like, okay. And okay, now and I'll just mess around. And after like half an hour, he's like, all right, I got what I need for that song. And I think, what the hell just happened there? I don't know what I did. You know, he's got me fingering chords I've never fingered before until it sounds right to him. And he's like, all right. He's like, I got what I need. I just take his word for it. It always turns out fabulous. He's getting what he needs. So in that regard, I never know what to expect with a song from Alan. Sometimes he'll tell me, hey, I need some chords for a song, you know, and I'll come up with something ahead of time. He said, yes, that'll work. Or for a few songs, like our song from our first album, Lord, Lord, Alan said, you know, what if we wrote a song where Jesus was having a bad day and he needed a little pick-me-up song or something? And, you know, a hymn to himself that he would sing. I'm like, Alan, I got this one. And so I wrote the music and lyrics to Lord, Lord, and I played it for him then a few days later. And he's like, that is 180 degrees different from what I had in mind, but I love it. And that's what we went with. And yeah, so that's happened a few times where Alan will have an idea for something, but he doesn't quite know where to go with it. And I'll just kind of commandeer the project from there, that song. So it's just kind of whatever works for getting the song done. We have many different ways where we come up with songs.
We have got a great guest with us today. Joins us live here on our big broadcast. Glenn is with us from Norwegian Soft Kitten. I love the music. I love what you guys are doing. What is the next set of music that you guys are going to be bringing out to us?
Yeah, we're hoping next summer to release our next album. Alan's been working on the mix and all. We have all the material recorded. When I say recorded, when we get together, we record all the vocals and guitar parts. Yeah. And then Alan goes back to LA and puts in drums and bass. So we have all the vocals, guitars done. He's been working on the drums and bass and mixing them. He hasn't let me hear it yet, but he said it's sounding really good. It's going to be another big album. We had 18 songs on our first album, 17 on our second one, and we're going to have with 17 or 18 on this third album. Our albums have ranged from like an hour to an hour and 10 minutes long, so this one will probably fit that bill as well. And
fantastic.
It's going to be more bizarro stuff where we're just on a musical ride. People have listened to our albums. We call ourselves a gush band because we just play all kinds of music. You know, we play rock, metal, pop, country, punk. We do a cappella stuff. We do instrumentals, whatever we kind of feel like for each song. And that's what this next album's going to be. And these songs we actually recorded 2 years ago this month, all the guitars and lyrics. And recently I asked him, I said, I don't even remember what songs are going to be on our third album. Send me the list if you would. And he sent them to me. It's like, I don't even remember half of these songs. Because for me, it's really bizarre that I might come up with a song And for like 2 days, I just play it hundreds of times over and over, just tweaking the chords a little bit here or there, seeing what sounds right, come up with the lyrics, make my demo for Alan, and then I forget about it when I start working on more songs. And so then when he comes to record, he's like, all right, we got to record this one. I'm like, I don't even remember it. So I have to watch the demo video I made for him 6 months earlier. Like, oh yeah, now I remember it. And so I record it, sing the vocals, and now that was 2 years ago. And I've forgotten about the songs. So he gave me the list. I only remember like half the songs on our list for the next album. Like, what the heck is that song? And I had to go back through my notes and stuff. Like, oh, yeah.
What the heck is that
so
song?
It's going to be a surprise for me. And that's one of my great thrills in being in Norwegian Soft Kitten is Alan does all the mixing and all. And then, you know, a year later, 2 years later, he sends me a mix of the song, and it's never a finished mix yet, but it's, you know, usually 80% of the way there. And it's like I'm listening to music for the first time. It's just brand new, and it's like, wow, and I get so excited.
That is amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big broadcast, talking a little bit about Norwegian Soft Kitten. You know, one of the things I like about what you guys do is you don't take yourselves too seriously. You guys just have a good time. Talk to us a little bit about that. Yeah,
you know, we make music we want to listen to. And if other people like it, that's bonus. But we mostly like what's going to make us happy, what's going to make us laugh. You know, some of our songs are kind of playful and all. You know, what's going to intrigue us. And up until recently, I've started listening to a jazz singer from Canada, Katja Dinar, a lot. Until I started listening to Katja a lot, like 90% of what I listened to was Norwegian Soft Kitten, because we're making the songs I like. And, you know, Alan and I have, even though we're very different, we come from very different backgrounds. Alan's more of a metal background. I'm more of a, you know, 80s British pop, new wave type background. It really works well together. And so I just love our songs. And I'm talking about not taking ourselves too seriously. It's going to be, we already have the guitars and all vocals laid down for our fourth album as well, which will probably not be out for another 2 years or so. And one of the songs on that album is Why Do the Amish Hate America?
Yes.
And I sing it like almost like a funeral dirge, and very seriously about how the Amish hate us so much. And of course I pronounce it Amish just for fun.
That's right. Well, I just love the fact that Norwegian Soft Kitten, you guys don't take yourselves too seriously, and everything's fun. You don't make music that's meant to be mean or mocking or any of the nonsense. You guys are just having a blast.
Because when I listen to music, I want to have a good time and enjoy it. And, yeah, you know, I've liked some protest songs, you know, over the years, and especially, you know, from late 60s, early 70s and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For us, we're just having fun, and we want people, when they listen to us, to have fun listening to us. Have a good time.
That's awesome. Well, before we let you go, my friend, how do we get in touch with Norwegian Soft Kitten online and buy your music, get involved with what you're doing?
Oh, yeah, we're on Twitter. I stay up to date with Twitter on a daily basis. NS_Kitten on Twitter, Facebook, Norwegian Soft Kitten. We're on Spotify, Deezer, iTunes, Amazon if people want to stream us, YouTube. We're all over the place. Just Google Norwegian Soft Kitten. You'll get more links than you want.
You'll get more links than you want. That is awesome. Well, you are amazing, my friend, and I will talk to you soon. Appreciate it, Glenn.
Thank you, Jiggy. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, brother. There he goes. That is Glenn from Norwegian Soft Kitten, and our next guest is going to join us here in just a few seconds here on our big broadcast, coast to coast, border to border on iHeartRadio.